For most of the country, the weather was great. The open houses apparently packed, and scores of markets, scores of interested buyers, with one tiny issue: not scores of bucks backing them up. The problem, as realtors see it, isn't a lack of interest, but a lack of money. Lenders just are not lending. What's really going on? I'm joined by John Higginbotham, a certified mortgage planning specialist for a large mortgage lender, and Dolly Lenz. Dolly is the vice chairman of Prudential Douglas Elliman. She is also the #1 real estate agent in the country. This lady is just printing money. Well, she's here. She's just printing money. Dolly, what do you think of that? That the traffic's there, but the money to back up the traffic is not?
Well, you have to be much more proactive today than you would have, let's say, even a year ago. Now I actually have to pre-qualify buyers, set them up with banks, figure out what's wrong if they aren't able to get a loan, work with a different bank.
Is that more of an issue?
It's a big issue today. Today, it's really a big issue. It's the #1 issue right now.
So clients who would have gotten loans easily before are having a much tougher sled.
Well, before it was, let's put a mirror under your nose, see if you're breathing, and now it's, what's your underwear size? I mean, literally, they want to know everything about your life. And
the underwear size would be a curious question on an application. Yeah. But all right, so John, what do you make of that? That it's the lender, stupid?
Well, we're still seeing, a fair amount of lending. We're still able to do 95% financing most of the time. Dolly is correct that.
Who are you doing 95% financing for?
I'm sorry?
Who are you doing 95% financing for?
Typically, it's just that's for primary residence, owner-occupied property.
Is that true?
Smallish loans, I think we're able to get 90% financing, up to $417,000, which, wouldn't apply in most of the Manhattan market, but certainly applies in many areas across the country. But it's still difficult, even for those. You still have to give
What
them...
do you know? You're obviously on the high end. You sell a lot of high-end properties. What's the shift in financing now? Are they scooping up more of the costs themselves, or what?
The shift in financing now is you really have to put 20 to 25% down to get a great rate.
Really?
And people are putting 20 to 25% down. But the good news is...
When you say this is high-end all the way up into the millions?
Yes, into the many millions.
All right, and that crowd that used to just leverage themselves because rates were low enough to do so, they're not doing that now.
They're not doing it for lots of reasons, and mostly because of rates.
All right. John, I'm also hearing another problem is the appraisal on properties, because appraisers got criticized for being too lenient, maybe too generous on appraisals a couple of years ago. They're going quite the opposite direction now, and it's making closing loans very difficult. Is that true?
Yeah, in a lot of situations it certainly is. We don't have a lot of that problem throughout Virginia.
Yeah.
They're a little bit sensitive, but whenever you're in one of those soft market areas that Fannie classifies as either a Category 4 or 5, you're certainly having issues there. They don't want to step in anything, and so they are very conservative. That's exactly right.
Are you, as someone who helps get people loans, are you noticing that the requirements are tighter, that their credit score has to be better, their down payment has to be higher, their credit exposure has to be smaller, anything like that?
Well, yeah, all of those except for, you're still able to do higher loan to values, but I think Dolly has a great point. Most of her customers are probably above the 417, and anything that's in the jumbo market's definitely going to have, the pricing is actually tiered to where if you don't have 20, 25, or 30% down or so, you are going to end up paying a higher rate. For the rest of America, though, that's below that 417 number, we're still okay. We're still looking at 95% financing. FICO scores have gone up. Required documentation has gone up.
So it's just a tougher environment. But Dolly, do you see that everyone's been waiting for the high end to fall, and they said that then you have your coup de grace? It's all that we've washed it out. Have we seen that yet?
No. And right this minute, there's no evidence of it. The very high end is stronger than ever.
What's the very high end?
25 million and above.
So that's your very high end. Okay, that's a lot. So yeah. Just mere millions is just, you wouldn't even waste your time.
No, I do everything.
Really?
Yeah,
What's the cheapest property you've ever done?
700. Cheapest I've ever done is 25,000, but I have listings.
That's just a bathroom for you. What are you talking about?
No, it was a one-bedroom apartment at 575 Park.
Oh,
but
right.
Cheapest I have right this second is about $700,000, and you really have to be, as I said, proactive about financing, prepare everyone, get everything ready, and then you can go ahead and bat it out of the ballpark.
Dolly's got a good point, if I can interject.
Okay.
It's more important than ever that the realtor work really close, because usually it used to be the realtor was the one that actually kind of knew of the guideline changes. But now you don't know. The loan officer just found out today that something's going to change.
Well, there aren't too many realtors like Dolly who know what the heck's going on. That's the unfortunate thing. But Dolly, I want to thank you. It was tough for her because she had to keep that BlackBerry off the whole interview, and that was 5 customers. John, thank you very much.
You're welcome.